you would like to travel somewhere without busting your entire budget, our first guest joins us today with tips to help you book an amazing vacation without a luxury price tag. We welcome travel blogger Katie Williams. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Tell me first about how you got into travel blogging. Were you always jet setting to begin with?
No, I wasn't actually. I went on a service trip to Ghana, Africa in college, and that really started my world travels. I wanted to travel bug came and I just wanted to go everywhere.
Which brings us to traveling on a budget. Not everybody can access all these beautiful places, but there's a way to get it done.
There is, and that's kind of comfortable, in a way that's comfortable, yeah.
For sure. Okay, let's talk about some of your tips. Hotels Tonight, tell me about that.
This is a fun app and website. If you can be a little bit flexible, you can go on the day that you might be trying to stay somewhere and you can book a hotel for that exact night, and they're usually cut 50% or more in half in price, which I think is a great option if, let's say, you're driving somewhere. My parents have used it before and they love it. So
that's true for road tripping. If you can be a little bit flexible. I have heard some really great success stories of folks who, if you can hang on to the last minute, it might work out. Let's talk about points and miles rewards, getting the most for your money.
If you have any sort of credit card, or if you fly at all, I recommend if you fly at all, getting the miles program for that airline is huge, because you can just rack up points and miles just from little things. But for the credit cards, I put every little possible expense on my credit card, like groceries, gas, and everything, because it's so great to have all those points, and then you can use them for hotels, flights in the future.
It is so nice, even if you don't travel a ton, when you use it like that, kind of paying it off immediately like it's a debit card, you're just getting those rewards, and it can make a big difference when you do want to eventually make that big trip. Tell me about getting a resort pass. How does that work?
So let's say you want to live a little bit more luxuriously. You can get a resort pass, which is, you can get it through the app on your phone, or there's also a website. Okay. So you go and you sign up for any, let's say, resort within the area, and you can pay a small fee to use all of the resort amenities, which could be the pool, the spa, all sorts of different things. Sometimes it's golf. So I think that's a great way if you want to live a little more comfortably, but you're on a budget.
Maybe it's a resort that you couldn't necessarily afford a multiple night stay at, but just to experience the property for a day or two like that.
Exactly.
There's some really lovely things that you can access as well. Okay, let's talk about traveling off-peak season if you can.
Yes, that's one of my huge ones. Budget travel, if you can be flexible at all. Traveling somewhere that's known for summer travel, but you go in the fall or you go in the spring, you can save so much money on flights, on hotels, on activities, and that kind of thing. Sometimes it's harder, but that's a good budget tip if you really want to travel.
And it's a lot less crowded, a lot of popular tourist locations too, which makes your experience a lot more fun.
It actually can be more, more fun.
Snagging last-minute deals, not just for hotels, but for flights as well. There are some great resources to access those last-minute deals.
I really love Thrifty Travel and Going.com. Those are great ones that will send you emails when there's flight deals in your area. You can actually type in where you're traveling from, and then it'll spit out and email you multiple times when there's mistake fares, for example. Sometimes the airlines do mess up, and you can hop on those and get really cheap deals, like internationally and domestic.
A mistake fare, that sounds pretty exciting. Okay, what about boutique hotels? Because I always kind of think those places might be more fancy and maybe cost more, but that's not always necessarily the case.
Exactly. Boutique hotels can actually have a lot of the same amenities as maybe a more luxurious hotel, but for half the cost. Always check them out. I always go to boutique hotels before checking out kind of the more budget hotels. And a lot of times they're comparable, which is sort of shocking, and they have a little bit more of a cool vibe and have better design, in my opinion.
Yeah, and a lot of them have really cool historical features too that are connected to the city or the location that you're visiting. Okay, what about free activities?
Yeah, again, a great way to budget travel. Let's say you spend a little more on the hotel or the flight. Going on a free walking tour, those are my favorite things to do when I'm in a new city. Going to free museum nights, free events. There's always different free street fairs and stuff like that. Like, for example, I was just at the Portland night market, and that was free. And that's a fun way to just explore and see different vendors and stuff like that.
Do you have a favorite travel memory or great story of like a last minute or a great deal that you got that just kind of like made it an even better trip?
Let's see.
I put you on the spot.
Yes. Actually, I went on a around the world trip. I quit my job and I went to travel for a year. And I found a flight deal for $200 from, at the time I was living in San Francisco, to fly to Iceland. So I snagged that flight because $200. I mean, it was
That's incredible.
budget airline, but I flew, and that's how I got to my trip across the world. And I definitely had more money to spend on other things. Which
Exactly. It all gets to go somewhere else. Thank you so much. These were great tips.
Thanks so much.
So fun chatting with you. We'll have more information on our website at katu.com, and we'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.